What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Undergrad Forum. Now, it's been a while since we've made a video, but if you guys were following the Twitter or our Facebook account, you know that big news has happened in the DocOssareh world, and that's that I've matched. 3.5 years of med school, applying to residency during the 4th year, doing interviews, all that stuff has come to an end. Last month I ended up matching into my top choice in the field of neurology. I'm also doing a prelim year because neurology is an advanced program, so you got to do 1 year of medicine first. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And the next few videos, we're going to start introducing the concepts of, okay, so we talked about the first 2 years of med school, we talked about how to get through those basic science courses, we talked about how to have strategy, about going about both step 1 and step 2, we talked about how to do well on your clerkships. Okay, so now it's the end of 3rd year maybe, or the beginning of 4th year, and you're realizing, okay, now I gotta make sure I know what my specialty is, I gotta start applying for it via ERAS. How does that whole thing work? Do I need to do a WAYS? What are sub-I rotations, etc.? All those things that go into picking a specialty and getting into hopefully your top specialty of choice, we will talk about today. And in the series of videos you'll just see below attached. All those videos, I'm going to wear the exact same scrubs just to make it obvious that we're talking about 4th year stuff and matching. If you also notice, we got a new background. I moved. I live much closer to the ocean now. Might as well in Southern California. We're matched. Let's have a little bit of fun for a month or so before we go back to work. So you get a little bit of an orange background and this cute little tree. Alright, so today what are we going to talk about? How to pick a medical specialty. Some of you already know. Congratulations, X out the video, go to the next one, watch Netflix. I don't know, I'm kidding, just do something mildly productive. But if you don't know, that's okay, don't panic. There are plenty of people who don't know what specialty they're going into before starting 4th year. There are people who will switch in the middle of the application cycle, and there are even some people who apply to multiple specialties because they're not sure just to pick one. So when it comes to picking a specialty, I think you got to think about multiple variables, and I'm going to break them down into just a few. The very first and most important variable is that you like the specialty of choice. And that's kind of a given. In my case, I'm going into neurology because I like it. I think brain pathology is interesting. I like doing detailed physical exams. I like mixing brain imaging with physical exams and kind of combining them. I like using the technology. That's just something I like. There are plenty of people in the world who like general surgery, who like pediatrics, who like radiology, whatever that is. That's kind of the easy one. You will have a feeling of what you're appealed towards or whatever it is that you like. So that's the easy one. You'll like a few things, hopefully, and you can decide, okay, there's a few things that I like. If you're having a hard time even on this most basic step, what you can do is start realizing, what do I dislike? And start crossing off things that you don't like to kind of make a more narrowed specialty choice of what you do like. For example, if you were on your surgery rotation during 3rd year, you should be able to know at least if you enjoyed being in the operating room or didn't, liked having procedure life of surgery or didn't. You can make that first dichotomy between surgical and non-surgical specialty. After that, you can ask yourself, okay, what other rotations have I been on? Did I like working with kids? Do I want to spend my whole life doing peds? Did I like psych? Was that a very different aspect of medicine that I liked? Or did I like OB-GYN and delivering kids and being around pregnant women? Is that what interested me? So go think back and think about your 3rd year. Even if you're in the middle of 3rd year, it's not too early or too late to ask yourself, what have I liked so far and what have I disliked and why? Don't let a poor rotation experience color an entire specialty. If you had a poor, for example, OB-GYN rotation because the residents weren't too nice, or you didn't get a lot of hands-on deliveries, don't let that color it. If you still like it, you can do a sub-I, you can do another rotation. You have time to figure out what you want. Sorry, something in my head. So don't worry about it. And most importantly, don't let a possible negative rotation experience distract you from taking a rotation that you like and picking that specialty. So you found what you like, or you found all the stuff you didn't like, and you narrowed it down into things that you do like. Now you got to start narrowing that list even more, hopefully to one thing. And a piece of advice I got 10 years ago when I was doing research in college, he was oddly enough an ENT surgeon at Stanford, and he took me out to lunch one day. I had no idea who this guy was. Little did I know, now in hindsight, he was a pretty big time attending, but he gave me a really good piece of advice, and he said, this won't matter to you now, but in about a decade it will when you're picking specialties for rank. Pick a specialty that you fit into. The people of the specialty, who do you see yourself getting along with? And at the time, I was too young to really appreciate it, but luckily I somehow remembered that one piece of advice, and he's very, very, very right. Picking a specialty is not simply based on what is your medical interest, but also, do I fit into the specialty? Do I like the people who are in there? And can I see myself becoming who they are now? And that's very important because you need to have proper fit. For example, if you are more hands-on and you see yourself liking to work with your hands, but you're realizing, well, I want to go into psychiatry, but it's like I can't get along with the residents or we don't resonate. Something to consider. Again, never rule it out. A single rotation could have weird residents on or really great ones. Your attendings could be on or off. You never know. Like, give it more than one shot. Go back and shadow a bit. Ask someone for more time if you're hesitant on what the culture of something is or if you fit in. So go back, shadow some more, see different people, try to figure out the fit. And I can't overemphasize that enough because you will be spending your life working with these people in your specialty. You want to be at a place where you get along and fit in. And for the most part, most specialties you probably will. I'm sure all you guys are normal and we'll just get along with anyone. But overall, find a specialty that you're interested in. Find a specialty that you fit in. And lastly, don't underestimate this last point, quality of life. Picking a specialty can often be diluted or you can get distracted by variables that are not from within. So for example, your family could be pressuring you to do something. Maybe a sibling or a relative has created a line of cardiologists and you should be the next one in line, but you don't like cardiology or whatever it is. Don't be hesitant to do what you got to listen to yourself and ask, why do I like what I like? Am I getting pressured from an external source or is it truly within what I want? Not saying that is present in all of you, but what I am saying is just take a moment to ask yourself that question. Is what I like genuinely coming from my heart or is it coming from an external pressure? That's something that many or some people will have to deal with. I was being pressured earlier on to go into a surgical specialty by my parents, and then I realized surgery is great. It's, being in the OR is fun, but the people who were in general surgery loved it a whole lot more than me, and I was much more drawn to neurology. Absolutely okay. Not gonna lie, my parents were kind of a little iffy at first when I told them, but once you explain to them it's your life, you gotta pick what you want to do in life, everyone will come around to it. So there are the different variables that go into picking a specialty. Pick what you like, that's the obvious one. Make sure you have a good fit, and that if you don't get enough of that feeling from a rotation, go back, spend a weekend, a couple weekends trying to get a good feel of it. And lastly, make sure what you're interested in and quality of life for you is genuinely in your own heart. Because some specialties do have a more difficult quality of life than others. For example, if you're working in OB-GYN or a surgical specialty, you will have a bit of a harder life than someone, say, who's in dermatology in the outside clinic working in more comfortable hours, or someone maybe in radiology working nice hours versus a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, an intensivist, someone who's very hands-on, such as OB-GYN with a flexible call schedule. These are all things you have to ask yourself. This is not to say that one specialty is necessarily harder or worse, it just has to be the right fit for you. So hopefully you guys can take this advice and pick a specialty a little bit easier. Throw some questions down below if you have any, put them up on the Facebook group, we can all help each other out. Picking a specialty isn't easy, but hopefully it's a fun thing to do and you can have a fun career. Thanks for listening, guys, and as always, enjoy your studies.